Hello, hello, this is PattyJo. It's been a long 3 nights and I'm back to do some more watching of Dumb Darrell. Okay, so let's see where we are. I know I didn't advance this before I...
Or whether that's a direct appeal if there is a conviction.
So
But
loud
I'm not going to address it any further.
Because there's no verified proof.
There does not need to be, sir.
Let's just do that.
All right, I believe the jury is coming out. Is that true?
In order for a case to...
So
All
this
right.
is after
The record should
on.
reflect that the
Of
jury is
torture.
coming out, and we are about to continue with the state's next
Not once
witness.
was the plaintiff addressed. That wasn't addressed.
That wasn't addressed. I'm going to
Where's the
stand
plaintiff?
here and
Where's the
complain.
That's because
The jury will disregard the statements presently being made by
What a
the
victim.
defendant.
Because y'all don't want the jury to know the truth.
The jury will disregard those statements made by the defendant.
I see.
It is not his opportunity to testify. They are comments, and as such
He
are
thinks
to
he's
be
doing
disregarded.
something by making these comments in front of the jury. He really does.
Ain't gonna work.
All right. Thank you, everyone. You may be seated.
It's not gonna work.
Attorney Opper, you may call your next witness.
Thank you. The state calls Hope Evans.
All right. Good morning, Ms. Evans. If you would please make your way to the witness stand. It is up a riser, so be mindful of that. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, who's on my left, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about
Where's
to give shall
Zach?
be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please be seated. The first thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each.
It's Hope Evans Jansen. It's HOPEVANS-JANSEN.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you, Ms. Evans.
I like her shirt.
Ma'am, on the day of November 21, 2021, did you attend the WAUKESHA Christmas Parade?
We did.
And you came with your family, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
Just for the court report, if you could say yes or no. And was one of the people that was with you your daughter?
Yes.
And what was her age at the time?
Her age at the time was 10.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to say that this poor little 10-year-old got mangled and run over by Darrell's rampage. And Darrell's going to claim that nobody is making a claim against him. Who's this lady then? Who's this lady and all the other people before her?
And
All
was there
making a
time
claim
when
against
she was
you.
recording the events that were occurring during the parade?
She pretty much recorded the whole parade.
Okay.
Aw.
And were you present when this was happening?
Yes.
Standing right next to her, basically?
Sitting next to her. She was on my husband's lap.
Okay. And you could see her using a device to record the parade.
Yes, ma'am.
What type of device was it?
An iPhone.
And was that her phone?
Yes.
Okay. And during
I can't
the
afford
parade,
one.
were you present when the dancing grannies were struck by the red SUV?
Yes.
And did that get captured by your daughter on her iPhone?
Yes.
At some point in time, did you turn that recording over to the Waukesha police?
Yes.
And prior to doing that, did you alter the content of the recording in any way?
No.
Was the recording that you turned over a true depiction of the events as you saw them unfold right in front of you?
Yes.
Like to display Exhibit 139 to the witness only, please.
Go ahead.
And ma'am, it should be on the screen in front of you. We're going to just play it for just a few seconds first to make sure you can look at it and identify this, that we're talking about the same.
And it's okay with this monster that a little 10-year-old was videotaping a parade and his monstrous actions, that rampage happened in front of her. That's okay with him. We should nullify. I can't even say it with a straight face. Sorry. Moving
Video
on.
you provided in this case, okay? So
Yes.
we'll play about three or 4 seconds worth here. All right, does that look familiar to you?
Yes.
Okay. Is this the recording that your daughter captured that afternoon?
Yes.
And same recording that you turned over to the Waukesha police?
Yes.
All right. Move to admit number 139 and permission to publish.
Objection.
Exhibit 139 is received. Permission to publish is granted. The objection is overruled.
Your Honor, this particular recording is 15 seconds in duration. I'm going to ask that it be played with the volume on.
Go ahead.
Ms. Evans, is that what you remember seeing that afternoon?
Yes.
Did you hear those loud thuds?
Yes.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions. Mr. Brooks may have some questions for you.
Any cross?
Yeah, and I object to being called that name again, and I don't consent to it again for the record.
Again, for the record, he doesn't. Oh, a second. Again, for the record, I can't do it. Oh my God, what a clown! Let's not forget that lady. If you've never seen anybody, a person, a real person, die before your eyes, it is not something that you necessarily forget or get over. It's truly life altering to see that. All right, let's hear what stupid ass needs to say.
Just a few questions. Do you recall about what time you arrived at the parade that day?
No. Before it started.
Do you recall how long you were there before the parade actually started to get underway?
Not really. I don't recall.
Thank you. She's a nice lady.
And who all were you with?
My family, my friend's son, my daughter, my husband, my mother-in-law, myself.
She can't look at him either. She's nervous.
During the parade, were any of you or your family injured?
No.
And she's thinking not physically. There is no way that this lady and her little tiny girl, 10 may not be little tiny, but still very young, too young to see this, were not harmed emotionally by watching him basically run over little old women who are just trying to dance in a parade. What? Ugh, he's so disgusting.
Do you recall seeing a vehicle approaching?
Yes.
And about how far was it from you when you saw it approaching?
Roughly, like, I don't really know of an estimate of the amount of distance. It was roughly when it started hitting the dancing grannies.
Did you see the vehicle strike anyone before that point?
No, the crowd was rather large at the parade.
Do you remember the large crowd? Do you recall it being pretty loud at that point?
Every parade I've been to has been loud in general, so.
This is
So it'd be
evidence.
fair to say that that one was pretty loud.
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay. Her testimony, the way she's testifying, first of all, totally honest. 100% honest. Her mannerisms are her normal, the way she speaks, you can tell. But this also, to me, demonstrates that the prosecution did not overly prepare these witnesses. They just were told to tell the truth in their own words. Because as somebody who actually was taught, quote unquote, to testify, you simply do not answer parts of the question that have not been asked. So in other words, when he says, do you recall a disturbance? The answer is simply a yes or no answer. When he asked about the volume, she says most parades. She offers information. Was the volume loud? Just yes or no. It's not anything, not to criticize her, because she is simply expressing in her own words the answers to the questions. She's not been taught the legalese of testifying, which, like I said, kind of lends to the prosecution not overly, preparing them, not telling them what to say, which is good in a way and bad in a way, because it gives dumb Darrell ammunition for his ridiculous legal questions with the basis of who are you and have you had coffee with the complainant the state of Wisconsin. Who are you? Who is you? Oh my God. Torture this poor woman. Look at her face. Oh my God.
Do you recall what you did when you saw
Now he's
people
going
being
to
struck?
criticize what she did. Why didn't you hit people? Why didn't you help
My
people?
husband pressed my daughter into his chest so that she couldn't see. I passed her to somebody behind me, and then I got my mother-in-law up to go inside of the karate studio that we were sitting in front of, as well as the young man that was with us.
In other words, she would flee the area.
Do you recall how long you were in the karate studio?
No.
Was it briefly or?
We were in there until we were told that we were able to leave by the police.
Did you hear at any time a report of shots fired?
No.
Did you hear any shots?
It was loud and chaotic. I can't say for sure if I heard shots or not.
So would it also be fair to say that if a horn may have been blowing, you wouldn't have heard that either?
I would have heard a horn. We weren't that far from where the vehicle came through on the road.
She is this poor woman. This poor woman. The people who end up seeing trash like Darrell mowing through innocent people and harming them and murdering them are not people who can testify, because my answers would have been stuff like we weren't that far away from, where you were mowing through the crowd there, Darrell.
So it'd be fair to say that you think you would have heard a horn but not shots.
She didn't hear a horn and she didn't hear shots. He's just trying to confuse her. She simply said she didn't hear any shots. She didn't hear anybody yelling shots fired. And she didn't hear a horn. She didn't hear either one. Now, was she close enough to the shots? I don't know. I've been pretty close to gunshots. In fact, I've been shot, so.
I don't know if shots were fired further down the road.
not that
Or
great a
if-
story. Don't ask.
I didn't hear any shots when the car went past.
No, I'm not asking when it went past. I'm saying the question was at any time. So I should have been more clear. I apologize. At any time during that
In my lifetime?
moment.
I don't believe I heard gunshots. I've never heard a gunshot before, so
This little innocent woman, before this happened, Darrell, this perfectly respectable, innocent, intelligent woman had never heard any of the garbage that you try to unload onto them. She doesn't know what a gunshot sounds like. She would think it was a balloon popping. She doesn't know. She doesn't have a frame of reference for your debauchery.
I can't really say yes or no.
So it'd be fair to say you wouldn't really know what a gunshot would sound like.
That actually is true.
Correct.
Moron. Stupid. And that's fine, ma'am. Miss Hope, you're fine.
Seeing as how you've never heard a gunshot before, would it be fair to say that it might be really loud?
I wouldn't know. I've never heard a gunshot, so I wouldn't be able to guess.
Do you recall if it was
Okay, then maybe the gunshots didn't happen, stupid.
any music playing?
It was a parade, so
Well,
there was music at some point.
coming from any of the vehicles in the parade?
You know, I just thought of something. Yes, Darrell, there would have been music coming from the vehicle, specifically the one right in front of her, from the Dancing Grannies. And that music would have kept playing after and during all of the chaos, all of the people being run over. With every thump, the Christmas music would still be playing. I can't imagine the nightmares that causes. Ugh. Darrell.
I don't recall at the moment.
All of that would turn off in these people's heads. That's trauma. That's stress. She actually was pretty with it to get her kid out of it, to shield them, to move them, to help her mother-in-law out of a chair possibly.
Do you recall about what time you and your family left the parade?
No.
You recall making a statement to law enforcement at any time during the incident?
No.
After the incident, the days after?
When I sent the video in to the police department is the only time I talked to anybody about this.
Do you recall when that was that you sent the video in? Was it a few days after the incident, or a week or two, or?
I don't honestly remember.
Were you contacted by law enforcement about any follow-up to the video?
No.
Did you follow up with law enforcement about the video?
No.
Look at her stress in her face. Please leave her alone.
And I'm assuming at some point you took that video off of your daughter's phone. Would that be fair to say?
Correct.
And did you Did you post that video footage anywhere, social media or anything like that?
Look at her face. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Did you see her eyes? Like how appalled she was even at the thought of, oh yes, that's exactly what I want to post. I don't even really like talking about his crimes and giving him any sort of credibility. Not that, my little tiny nothingness channel could ever do that. I'm really doing this just for my own cleansing of this, getting the thought of this out of my head. But she's appalled. That thought to her, first of all, never crossed her mind, which just goes to show how good she is and what an evil monster Darrell is. Go girl. Go girl.
So it was just only
You're
to
right, he's
law
gross.
enforcement that the video was shown.
Correct.
Never showed it to any other family members or friends at any point?
Objection relevant.
Grounds?
Overruled. You may answer.
No.
Because she knew the answer. She could feel it in her bones. I knew the answer. That was not something to show around.
When were you notified that it was? When were you notified that it was a possibility that you may be called to testify in this matter?
Here we go.
I received correspondence in the mail. I don't remember the exact date of when I received it.
I
August?
really do like that shirt she's wearing.
So, not that long ago then would be accurate.
Yeah.
Or pretty recently, rather.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you recall if that was in subpoena form?
Yes.
Did it state by whom the subpoena was sent?
The district attorney's office.
Did it have a name?
Susan?
Yes, Susan Opper. Subpoena. She's subpoenaing all.
Did you
subpoenaing.
contact the
Is that a
district
word?
attorney's office after receiving the subpoena?
I mailed back the subpoena, and I did call on October 3rd to see if I would have to come in, because I had received no notification about anything. I was told that I was going to receive a call back, and they did contact me.
By the way, for those of you who don't know, subpoenas actually for witnesses have that information on them. Generally, it has where you're going to be, where the court case, the number, some information, not a lot about that. It has who to contact. If you're a victim, it will include the victim's assistance numbers. All of this, call beforehand so that they're not, and this is important information, by the way, so that they are not dragging you in on a day that may or may not happen. Because actually, as a witness in a fire department, I didn't always get that because subpoenas would go to the fire department. The fire department didn't bother to actually show me my subpoenas. They would just send me an email, hoping I had time to look at the email, which a lot of times I did not. But fortunately, they would copy my lieutenant, and most of the time they were able to inform people of subpoenas. So I never saw them. And one time I actually showed up and they had already settled the case. They had already pled to a lesser charge or whatever. But because I never saw my subpoena, I never got a phone number to call ahead of time that I could have gotten, not gotten dressed in my big clown suit and gone down there. So
Say that I was
she's just
an
describing
on-call
following
witness.
instructions.
So at the time of October the 3rd, when you did a check to see if you would be needed, is it fair to say that at that time you wasn't sure if you would be testifying or not?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Did you seek
we're
to
all
testify in
confused.
this matter?
No.
I would have said yes. Sent in the video. Knew you were jumping off that bridge. You were just hoping.
And
Yes, none of these are relevant. You're correct.
did the district attorneys ever tell you in any way that they were the plaintiff in this matter?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Those words were never spoken to me.
I like that answer.
Are you aware of any plaintiff in this matter? Grounds.
Irrelevant.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Grounds.
You don't
Yeah.
have to answer
Oh,
this.
wait, hasn't he been told twice now, specifically, that saying grounds? And I actually saw on the Law and Crime, it was the Law and Crime Network, the one we're poaching these from, where they did reviews themselves. They actually say, the attorney on there that hosts it says that real attorneys don't say that. I mean, we can see from the other three not doing it, that they don't yell grounds, 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 because it's stupid. Because it's stupid.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Substain.
Next question, sir.
It's irrelevant, you jackwagon.
Did you or your husband or anyone in your family that was present at the parade file any claims on the matter?
With who?
With who?
Understand the question.
Not really.
Please rephrase.
At any time, did you file a claim with any, I guess, the agency or anything like that?
The agency?
In regards to the
What do we
incident?
mean, the Matrix?
Did any information that you obtained in regards to this incident have a complaint with it?
Objection made.
Grounds.
Sustained is to the form of the question.
Have you ever seen any complaint related to this incident?
Same objection. Your
Grounds.
Sustained is to the form of the question.
Do you know of any complaint with this incident?
Not sure I completely understand the question on that. What kind of complaint? I mean,
Please rephrase.
I mean, guess she's not an attorney. Or she'd be laughing at you instead of just trying to answer your stupid questions.
Have you ever seen any issued charges in relation to this incident?
I'm sorry.
Grounds.
I did not understand what Mr. Brooks just asked, Your Honor.
I believe he said the issued charges.
I object to that on relevance grounds, Your Honor.
Grounds.
Overruled. She may answer.
I haven't really been keeping up with the news media on the trial. So, no, I haven't seen a list of the charges.
I was referring to if you had received anything from the district attorney's office about the charges issued.
No.
Why would she? The whole point of doing it that way is so that you don't muddy the information coming from certain people. I witnessed one time I didn't witness the actual running off the road, but it was I came across a one car accident. This is very early in my paramedic career. I didn't have a lot of fire department or rescue or car accident experience. Very little, like 2 or 3, like very little. And the car was between the highway. I was on the exit, and between there was a little, the grassy area, and there was a car there. It was very dark, very late. I was coming home from a fixed wing flight, where we had brought a patient from, I guess, Bahamas or something, and there was a person in the car I could see because the dome light was on. So, I couldn't get through the grassy area myself. I was only in scrubs at the time. And I called the police and I described that there's a person in a car. The car had obviously run off the road somehow. I didn't know whether it was run off the road or rolled off the road, but I could see the person moving around in the car. So they said, "Can you describe the person?" And I described the person as it appears to be a female in the car, moving around and, awake. And so someone came, and the police came first, and they went over. They were able to walk over because they were properly dressed to the car, walked the person, assisted the person out of the car over to where I was standing. And then as he's talking to the police officer, he was talking to me. Over his radio came that it was a number 1 male, which I know from being around police that jargon, I think, means a Black or African American male. Well, this Black or African American male was dressed as a woman in a skirt. And so when I went to court, point being, when I went to court, they were asking me if I had some sort of, and we were going to court because it was this person was, she was intoxicated. We went into a conference room, and the defense attorney was there and the prosecutor was there, and they were asking me, so this was right before we were supposed to be in the trial, and they were questioning me, or kind of like a little mini deposition. It's kind of like a little hearing before our mediation thing before. And because I actually showed up as a witness, the defense asked me, did I have some sort of prejudice against, the defendant person? And or what was my first thought when that came over the radio, I think was the question. And my first thought was honestly that I couldn't have not bribed my butt into that skirt. So I was like that jealous of the whole thing. Everybody laughed in the room, and they came to some kind of meeting that there would be some alcohol treatment, which probably was appropriate. They were obviously out clubbing and, got too intoxicated, drove anyway. Point being, I didn't know why I was being questioned prior to the trial. I wasn't given any of this information that all of these other things were discussed. I didn't even know why I was there. All I knew is I got a subpoena because of the event, and that was it. I showed up. Come to it.
Are you aware of anyone bringing any claims or suits?
Objection.
Grounds.
Irrelevant.
Grounds.
Sustained. You don't have to answer that.
Look at how he keeps staring at the witness. That's an intimidation thing. Ugh, God, he's such a narcissist.
Grounds for the sustained.
Grounds for the sustained. Such a dork. Look at, there is, his hair's going away back here too.
Do you recall seeing the driver of the vehicle that you saw that day?
No.
That was thoughtful. She thought about it. Okay.
Could you see if anyone else was in the vehicle that you saw?
No.
Can you recall if you saw any tents to the vehicle you saw?
She doesn't know what he's
And
talking
by tents,
about.
I mean like tinted windows or anything.
She has no idea what you're talking about. She doesn't know about low riders cruising through the city. She doesn't know about modifications to cars. Chica probably drives a 4-wheel drive and has a Prius as a backup.
Of that nature.
I don't recall if the windows were tinted or not.
Do you recall where the vehicle traveled after it passed you?
No, my priority at that point was to get everybody inside and make sure they were safe.
Excellent.
So you didn't observe anyone struck after what you saw initially?
Correct.
This is a very dangerous territory for him because she saw a lot. He doesn't want that video replayed, that's for sure. I wouldn't ask her any of these questions. She saw too much in that video. Darrell. Again, another piece of evidence that could have stood alone.
And you stated that you haven't really been keeping up with the incident, right?
Keeping up? What do you mean you have been keeping up
Correct.
with me? I'm so important. The magnitude.
So that would that mean that it was your choice to do so, or you just kind of just disregarded it?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Not relevant. It's none of your business why she doesn't
Grounds for the
watch the
sustain,
news.
Your Honor.
Next question, please.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor. You're not intimidating her either.
After turning in the video to law enforcement, did you keep the video at that point?
Objection as an answer.
Grounds.
Overruled. She may answer.
The video is no longer on my daughter's phone. There's a copy on my phone that is still on there in case I needed to resend in the video. It has not been accessed since the day I sent it to the police.
So pretty much just keeping it just in case.
Correct.
Have you viewed it since turning it into law
She
enforcement?
just said no.
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
It's been asked. It may not have been asked, but she answered it, so I'll sustain it.
Thank you. Good catch.
So it'd be fair to say that seeing the video today would be the first time that you saw it since turning it into law enforcement?
Correct.
You know, I make fun of him asking these questions in a really clumsy way, but talking on the phone at work, I discovered that I'm just as clumsy when I talk. Oh my God. What's the matter, honey? What happened? Come here. Come on, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. She's telling me it's time to take her for a walk. Okay.
And just for clarity, you are not aware of any plaintiff in this matter, correct?
Asked and answered.
Grounds.
The
Is that an objection?
objection is sustained. You don't need to answer that.
She told them you were getting ready to say something they would object to, stupid. Oh.
I think you said that you were contacted back in August, correct?
I received mail with the subpoena, yes.
Do you recall before August being contacted in connection with this incident?
Objection.
Grounds.
Repetitive, irrelevant.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor?
Next question, please.
No grounds?
Next question, please.
It's okay. I'm not gonna stop petting you.
Would you consider yourself an injured party in this incident?
Objection.
Grounds.
Repetitive, irrelevant.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Reason for the sustain, Your Honor?
Next question, please.
No further questions.
Any redirect.
Asked.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. You may step down.
Thank you.
Look at his stupid face. Oh, you're so disgusting. Let's see who's next. Let's cheat and see who's next.
It is just before the noon hour, so this will be a good opportunity for the court to break for lunch. I will say between an hour and 15 minutes, at least for the jurors. So all rise for the jury, please. Teresa,
As it relates to these, so yes, were the items provided to them? Not yet, that's what I was told. They're in the other room because they're not certified.
Okay, looks like this is where we will stop. Harley's telling me that she needs a WALK, and I will try to get another one in before this afternoon. Hopefully, because I go to work Thursday and Friday this week, and it's my first day shift, so that's going to be a little bit scary. All right, thank you so much for joining me. Like, subscribe if you wish. I appreciate all of you and all of your comments. I'll try to get some comments in next video. I will see you next time.